Here's a question for you, Hank, from Molly, who writes, Dear Brothers Green, I'm at a barbecue where various alcohols are being consumed, and we are also being assailed by mosquitoes. And it got me wondering, how drunk would I need to be for a mosquito to die from alcohol poisoning if it bit me? Additionally, do mosquitoes get drunk? Sipping and being sipped, Molly. That's great. What a beautiful thing to both be sipping and being sipped. You're both taking and giving. Unfortunately, you're giving to the worst multicellular creature in the world.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. This is a weird thing. So this is not related to the conversation, but I do want to bring it up because it's very cool. There's this we like to know what kinds of animals are in areas. That's a thing that we like to know, so that we know if there's an endangered species in this area. But it's very hard, especially with like little like mice and voles and stuff, to see them and to like capture them on trail cams or whatever. And so what we do, we might go and collect a bunch of mouse dung and do DNA tests to see if it is related to the mice that we're looking for. But what you might also do is just collect a bunch of mosquitoes from that area and blend them up and see if the DNA from that species of concern is in the mush of all the mosquitoes that you collected, because they will contain the DNA of a bunch of different animals in that environment. We also do this with leeches, which is wild because leeches are surprisingly nonspecific. They eat blood from all kinds of animals, including birds and sometimes even bats, which you would think like, how the heck did a leech get to a bat? But
what a barf.
But we will collect leeches from all around parks all over the world to see what kind of, and they don't tend to move that far. Like a leech doesn't tend to go a long way. So you have some idea if you find the DNA of an organism that it's near where that leech was collected.
It's great to have a new worst thing that could ever happen to me, because it used to be the worst thing that could ever happen to me was getting bit by a bat and getting some like novel coronavirus from it and being patient zero of the next pandemic. But now the worst thing that can happen to me is being bit by a bat that's covered in leeches.
One just jumps off and is like, you too.
Oh,
leeches
God.
are a bad vibe.
I had leeches.
I've had leeches, sure.
I cleaned out my pond, and I got leeches. I got a number of leeches on my body, and I could not accept that reality. It's like when you get lice. I don't know if you've had the privilege yet of getting lice from one of your children who got lice from some other child. But when you get lice and then it's gone, you still believe that you have the lice. You know, the lice still feel alive on your scalp even long after they're gone.
Might
and
be
I'm
there.
like that with leeches.
Yeah, cancer's the same way.
Leeches.
But anyway, there is a popular science article, and we have some quotes from some scientists. It says, bugs are no lightweights, often withstanding vapor concentrations of 60% alcohol, far more than what's in our blood after a couple of beers. Someone who's had 10 drinks might have a blood alcohol content of 0.2%. So that's pretty like
high.
A devastating amount of alcohol. Not close, not too far from having to go to the hospital. This is from Colby Shaw of North Carolina State University. To a mosquito, a blood meal that contains 0.2% alcohol is like drinking a beer that's been diluted 25-fold.
Oh,
so you're not going to get a mosquito drunk.
I mean, the thought of diluting beer 25-fold with water is
almost
honestly
grosser
worse
than a
than
leech.
being bitten by a bat covered in leeches.
Yeah. It's basically like if like when you're washing out the beer after when you're about to throw it into the recycling, just drink
and
that.
Then you just got to drink all that. Yeah. No, I think technically that's called Busch Light.
Oh, boom! Explosion noise!
Little beer joke for you. But a bump.
Wow, that's how very 1990s of you to make fun of Busch Light.
I know. I was trying to think of the like worst worst beer to make that joke about. And I think Busch Light, I think I nailed it with Busch Light. But one thing you should know, Hank, is that mosquitoes, at least according to my research onto this topic after I saw this question, mosquitoes can get drunk, it seems, based on the fact that we know fruit flies can get drunk. Yeah,
mosquitoes can get drunk. We just have to give them a lot of alcohol to get
They just got to get real drunk in order to feel anything.
Which is why they mostly do cocaine.
Now, tell me again how having 10 drinks is almost time to go to the hospital, because I don't know if you've ever been to the Indy 500, but